ਅਸੀਂ ਸ਼ੋਅ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਵਾਪਸ ਆ ਗਏ ਆ ਤੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਸਾਡੇ ਮੇਅਰ ਆਫ ਬ੍ਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ ਪੈਟਰਿਕ ਬ੍ਰਾਊਨ welcome back after the break. So you were explaining the features of the council, how the councillors are, individual councillors, and it was fascinating, to see how much background work you have done on seeing how the council works and how to make it work, So they're two different things.
Why? It's like a canoe. If you have one person rowing, you're going to go in circles. If you got everyone rowing and you're coordinated, that boat can really move, that canoe can really move, and I feel that we've got a council where everyone's pitching in right now, and so I'm optimistic that we're heading in the right direction as a city.
Okay, I have a question for you. You were in India recently, let us say you shared it was a private trip or something that when we look at the engagements, they were all official engagements, like that. So what is your take from that trip? How does it benefit us?
So when I was an MP, one of my responsibilities was I was the chair of the Canada-India Parliamentary Association. I did that for 9 years, and I was looking at Canada's relationship with India, and I was fascinated by the file and ended up going to India once or twice a year on behalf of Canada. And we obviously at the time we opened up new trade commissions, we focused on increasing the bilateral trade, we changed the Canadian Student Experience Program to get more students. I took the Canadian Prime Minister at the time on his first trip to India. I had made inroads for the country in new parts of India where we weren't active at the time. And so, although I don't come from Indian ancestry, I feel that I've got some
you feel affinity for India.
An affinity for India, and frankly some good relationships. And so, given the fact that for the last 12 years I've gone to India every year, I thought I would continue the tradition. But sometimes when politicians go to India, that voters just think it's a junket, a trip. And so I said, I'm not gonna. This is, for me, politics is about service. It's about a way to contribute. I don't want a junket. I got my own ticket. I covered my own bills there. And I went and I met up with people that I had met before. So I met the Chief Minister of the Punjab, Chief Minister of Haryana, opposition leader in Tamil Nadu, and I met with some of the leading companies in India. And when I was there, as much as it was catching up with old friends, I was also talking about Brampton.
You're selling Brampton.
When I wake up in the morning, I think Brampton. When I go to bed at night, I think Brampton. And so we managed to get a number of companies there to agree to make investments into Brampton. I want to thank Ramandua, a local real estate agent. He helped line up a bunch of the meetings with potential investors, and it was every time I go back to India, it's a real pleasure, and it was great. It was great to be back.
Yeah, I think you had a meeting with a university or something. And we saw your dressing one.
Yeah, so the university in Chennai has a partnership in power engineering with Ryerson.
Oh, okay.
And so, because of their partnership with Ryerson, I was interested in visiting. When I had gone a few years ago to India, I actually toured the DMZ in Mumbai. They have Ryerson has a DMZ and the Mumbai Stock Exchange.
Okay.
And so I've always found that really interesting how Ryerson has taken a leadership role in India, more so than probably any other Canadian academic institution in terms of their presence, their physical presence in India. And so given the fact that we have a large diaspora in Brampton from Tamil Nadu, the fact that Ryerson has a partnership already with the University of Chennai, I thought it was worth checking out, and I spoke to their academic leadership.
Well, interesting. Yeah. It's interesting to go out of the way to, Well, that's what I think differentiates you from the previous mayor. That and this is dynamic leadership you're looking up to. When we look at Brampton, are you satisfied with what you have achieved so far in a short period, like 3 months on the job?
No, I am. I'm not going to be satisfied. until Brampton is the envy of Canada. I want to see Brampton with major industries. I want to see Brampton with our own university. I want to see Brampton with a new hospital. I want to see Brampton with modern transit. And so I am hungry for so much more for this city. I'm hungry for so much more for our community. And it's a big task, but I have a lot of caffeine in the morning. So I've got the energy to work on this, but we have a big list ahead of us, and we've got a long way to go.
So regarding the hospital, how do you think, is it going to mature? Because we have been pushing, everyone has been pushing. Just in the evening, I just came from a meeting of 40 Brampton Action Committee. There's a coalition of 40 groups. 40 groups is a large number, and you see individual groups have like 100 members each. So the issue was university and hospital, right? And this is the same group which did the town hall a couple of days back with the MPPs, Sandhu and Sarkaria. So their main concern was that we aren't getting anything from the provincial or the federal governments.
So on the hospital, right now, the average, if you look at the average resident in Ontario, the province spends on average about $1,700 a year.
Right.
In Brampton, they spend $900.
Right.
On hospital beds, we have 50% of the hospital beds that is the provincial average. We are being completely mistreated. We need a new hospital. We need a new hospital in Brampton, and if you look at the geographical placement, it probably needs to be in northwest Brampton. What this city council is looking at doing right now, and I can give you a bit of a heads up, is we're looking at designating land. Of actually taking a parcel of land and saying to the province, we're giving you the land, build our hospital. No more excuses.
Okay.
The fact the city is going to give up land and say to the province, just get it done, will show our seriousness in terms of getting a new hospital. So that's going to be happening in the near future. We've developed a healthcare advocacy committee on City Council, and Councillor Charmaine Williams, Councillor Harkirat Singh, Councillor Rowena Santos, and Councillor Doug Willans have joined me on the healthcare advocacy committee. Stay tuned. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but stay tuned. There's going to be a very focused, serious push by the city of Brampton to make sure the province attends to our needs on healthcare.
How many acres do you need for a hospital?
So
20 acres, 25,
no,
30,
it's more than that. Yeah, it's
70?
It's somewhere between 50 and 100 acres.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know that you're on the job, And what's going on with the university proposal, because it was cashiered and now we want it back. But
so the bad news is Doug Ford is offering nothing to young people in Brampton when it comes to a university.
Okay.
And it's not just us. He said he's bailing on all new universities. No university for Markham, no university for Milton, no Francophone university, no university for Brampton. And so he may not view post-secondary education as important, but you know what? We're not deterred. We're not deterred in the city of Brampton because we're doers. Brampton City Council has said to Ryerson, we're still committed to this project if you are. Ryerson has said they're still committed to Brampton. And so we signed a partnership a month ago where we're building our Center for Innovation that they're going to be part of. And we're proceeding. We're proceeding, and we hope that down the road, whether this government smartens up and changes their mind, or whether it's the next government, but we're proceeding. The plans the previous council had developed was to open a university in 2022. Well, we're not slowing down those plans. We're not being deterred. The bottom line is Brampton is committed to this happening, to having a university in our downtown, and Ryerson is still committed. But you know what's even better? Is that this short-sighted decision of Doug Ford has been a rallying cry for our community. So now, not only do we have Ryerson doubling down on Brampton, Sheridan University has come up with a growth plan, and they're doing some exciting stuff now, 3D printing, real high-tech programs. And Algoma University is opening up a satellite campus in the downtown.
Okay.
Right next to the Rose Theatre, we're going to have an Algoma satellite campus.
Wow.
So we're going to have not one, but 3 significant academic opportunities for young people as they leave high school.
Now, that's good to know, but one of the issues that came up into my mind was, it's not about the funding for 90 million, which we never got from the province. It is a recurring expenditure of operating the university year after year which matters. Because if the province was going to give us 90 million, they were committed to give us another 25 to 30 million every year to operate the university. And we can ill afford as a city to spend that money. You know? So that was the main push.
So if the province doesn't participate in 2022, it will limit the courses that can be offered.
Okay.
Right now we've got a partnership on cybersecurity. I would really love to see this partnership grow to a multitude of programs, a multitude of courses. The academic institutions are committed to the idea, and if the province changes their mind, we can offer lots of different courses. If they don't change their mind, well, then we're going to have to wait till there's a different government.
Well, the only new highway I look at is the 413, you know, which is Doug Ford has rehabilitated, right?
Yeah, and that's a good thing.
It's a good thing for Brampton. It's an excellent thing, you know, because now we have a highway coming all the way around into Caledon, going into Vaughan. So it's a good thing for us, and maybe it gives some relief to the bottlenecks that we have. One of the issues which we were discussing with certain people here, and they were experts in their field, is traffic. And they told me that, look here, the issue is not the speeds on some of the roads in Brampton, they are too high. And they are 70 kilometers. We don't need 70 kilometers on the roads. And that is the main reason why the more accidents are happening.
I'm not looking at changing the local speed limits. We do have a problem in some cases with speeding, but it's not because of the street signs, it's because they're going way over. So we have a solution for that. The province passed legislation about a year and a half ago that said municipalities can put photo radar in school zones.
Okay.
And the problem, we get some idiots who are out there racing by a school, and they know the police don't have the resources to dedicate police to be traffic cops.
Okay.
And so you see a police car once in a while, but there's not many of them enforcing speeding just because police salaries police resources are costly. And with this photo radar, we're going to be putting up in school zones around Brampton.
Okay.
If you're an idiot that's speeding in front of a school,
Okay.
I don't care about the sign, you're going to get a big fat ticket. And you know what changes behavior more than a street sign?
There's a ticket.
A ticket. And it shows that there's a huge deterrence that people know that they're actually going to get a ticket. And I've had some people say, well, I don't know if I like photo radar. My message is simple. Don't speed in a school zone. Don't speed in front of a school, and you're not going to get a ticket.
One of the costs that we had to pay for breakneck expansion of houses in Brampton was that the planning suffered. When I say planning suffered, I mean the designs of the houses, they leave much to be desired. Some of the houses we see in the northwest subdivisions, they are lousy houses. I don't know who approved those designs, because they're not even adequate parking outside. You can just park one car outside in some of the houses. Other cars can be parked between the sidewalk and the road.
So I think for a long time, every development just got approved. Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
And it was a rubber stamp in Brampton. Let me say, we're going to demand a lot more going forward. That we want development that is that builds real communities.
But what about the developments we already approved? Maybe 2,000-3,000 houses, you know, which are already approved for the next 2 or 3 years.
So Sujat, we can't go backwards if there's a development that's already started. You can't go backwards if they've already had their approvals. But going forward, the developments that I'll be looking for and that will merit my support are ones that build real neighborhoods and real communities. And it's not about creating houses that are like sardines, where people just sleep. I want to have adequate parkland dedications. I want to have parks and streets. I want to have bicycle paths. I want to have more opportunities for active transportation. And we have the opportunity to do that. In municipal governance, you have an opportunity to tell developers what you expect and say, if you build what we want, we'll approve it, and if you don't, we're not going to. And so we're going to be more creative in articulating the type of communities and the type of services that we want.
One of the benefits of the new basement policy, I was on the committee for a year or two trying to give my input also, and is that people are making more and more basements now, and they're all legal basements with big windows, right, and plenty of air in it, plenty of light in the basements. They are nice basements. And these basements are costly. Coupled with that, we have the old basements, right, which are the same old stiff, dingy basements, not giving value for money to the people who live there. It's a health hazard also. But having said that, Brampton today is facing a housing shortage. Because the price has gone up, people cannot afford. More and more people are going into renting.
And you need to have a variety of real estate, and so we need more affordable housing in Brampton, and the Brampton councillors are pushing for that at the region, so more affordable housing. We need more rental accommodation too. You need more townhouses, and then of course the traditional single-family unit. And so you have to have all options. Sometimes, for a while in Brampton, the only thing being approved was the single-family unit, and I think you need to have a variety of housing options.
I was talking to your original councillor, Rita Santos, here. She was here, and she was very excited about intensification, you know. And she says that's the next level to go.
Yeah, I think there's opportunities for intensification in the downtown of Brampton.
The downtown Queen Street corridor, yeah.
And so we've got some interesting applications right now, and so I think you're going to see some intensification in the downtown, and that's important. I think intensification in the downtown can be a catalyst for the revitalization of the downtown. We have got some work ahead of us in the downtown. Yeah.
We have about 40,000 condos in Brampton today. That's just a ballpark number. And maybe with the intensification that we are looking at the Queen Street corridor, it might go up to maybe 50,000 in time, and that will ease the pressure on the accommodation that we are lacking today. So why is it that there's a lot of employment land vacant on the east side of Brampton, but we don't see that much on the west side?
Vacant employment land?
Yeah.
Well, growth goes in different areas, but you're right. We've got some significant employment land opportunity in the west side of Brampton. I hope that we can market the employment land across Brampton.
We cross Highway 50, we see everything is built up.
And I would note, there are areas that are built up where that doesn't mean that there's not employment potential, because you can have a rebuild. You can have an area that may be have a certain use that can be enhanced. And so don't assume that because an area has already been developed that there's not opportunities to place within it employment lands.
When I go to cross Highway 50, I see most of the land there is occupied, it's already built up. But when you cross Highway 50 into Brampton, then you see vacant stretches, long vacant stretches. And that is...
Which creates opportunity.
It is an opportunity, but it is a cause of concern also, because the previous councils have been neglecting that area. And yes, for you as a manager of Brampton, it is an opportunity. It is the way you look at it. And that is why we love you, because you look at it differently from other people. People see only half full, and you see half empty. So that is the thing about And I think the experience that you have at all levels of government, in the municipal level, then in the Queen's Park, then at the federal level, that might be the difference of how you look at things differently. Is that so?
Well, I think having experiences at all three levels of government is an asset. Sometimes you only know how things work from one level and you only see part of the view. I know that there's only one taxpayer and that you can't point fingers between levels of government.
No.
I know how the federal government works, I know how the provincial government works, and so when Brampton is looking at a project, knowing how the other levels of government operate gives a greater ability to say how we're going to get to the finish line.
I see. Well, that's interesting to know. And we are looking at elections and federal elections in October 25. You know, it's very near, and there's a lot of hot up in Ottawa right now. And daily we see, you know, new stories, new things coming in. So, as an independent observer, you know, because as a mayor you're not supposed to be, you know, political, and you can make that remark. So as an independent observer, do you look at the elections like it's going to be exciting, it's going to be tie, it's going to be hung?
So as someone who's been involved in politics for a while, of course I find it interesting. Of course I find it fascinating. End of the day, what I look at first and foremost is what each party is offering for the city of Brampton, and that's my question to the Prime Minister, to Andrew Scheer, to Jagmeet Singh. I want to know what they're offering for the city of
well said, like a true mayor of Brampton. Thank you very much for being here, and we have enjoyed talking to you on this show, and we'll try to bring you back again.
Good.
And
Happy to
have more questions. After a few council meetings we have more things to discuss.
For sure.
Thank you very much for being here today. ਮੈਨੂੰ ਉਮੀਦ ਆ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਦਰਸ਼ਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਇੰਟਰਵਿਊ ਪੈਟਰਿਕ ਬਰਾਊਨ ਮੇਅਰ ਆਫ ਬਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਚੰਗਾ ਲੱਗਾ ਹੋਵੇਗਾ, ਤੇ ਜਿੰਨੀਆਂ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਬੜੀਆਂ ਇਨਫੋਰਮੇਟਿਵ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਡੋਮੇਨ 'ਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ, ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਕਿ ਅਗਲੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਸ਼ੋਅ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ ਅਸੀਂ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੀਆਂ ਸ਼ਖਸੀਅਤਾਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਈਏ। ਤਦ ਤੱਕ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਜਾਜ਼ਤ ਦਿਓ। ਸੁਖਜੋਤ ਨਾਰੂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਇਜਾਜ਼ਤ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ। ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਵੈਰੀ ਮਚ।